Imagine an empire so powerful it could tax the very salt of the earth, making a basic necessity a luxury for millions. Now, imagine a 61-year-old man, frail but resolute, deciding to challenge that empire with nothing but a walking stick and an unwavering belief in non-violence. This is the story of the Salt March, the 24-day, 240-mile journey that broke the back of the British Raj and set India on the path to freedom. In 1930, British rule in India seemed unbreakable. The cornerstone of their economic control was a series of cruel laws, the most infamous being the salt tax. This law made it illegal for any Indian to produce or sell salt, forcing them to buy it at an exorbitant price from the British. For the poorest of the poor, who relied on salt not just for taste, but for survival in the sweltering heat, this was a daily humiliation, a constant reminder of their subjugation. It was against this backdrop that Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, whom the people called Mahatma, or Great Soul, conceived a plan of breathtaking simplicity and genius. He would walk from his ashram in Sabarmati to the coastal town of Dandi and illegally harvest salt from the sea. This act of civil disobedience, or Satyagraha, was designed to be a non-violent assault on the moral foundation of the British Empire. But this was no spontaneous stroll. Gandhi was a master strategist. He meticulously planned every detail. He chose a route that would pass through dozens of villages, allowing him to connect with the rural masses who were most affected by the tax. He wrote to the Viceroy, Lord Irwin, informing him of his intentions, a move of audacious transparency that framed the British as the aggressors if they were to react with force. He also selected his initial companions with care, 78 disciplined followers from his ashram, trained in the art of nonviolent resistance, representing different regions and religions of India. On March 12, 1930, the march began. As Gandhi and his 78 followers set out, the world watched. Journalists from across the globe flocked to India, their reports turning this local protest into an international spectacle. With each passing day, the march grew. Villagers lined the dusty roads to greet them, offering food, water, and their support. By the time the procession neared the sea, the initial group of 78 had swelled into a crowd of thousands, a moving river of humanity flowing towards the coast. The journey was grueling. They walked about 12 miles a day under the scorching Indian sun, but Gandhi used every stop to his advantage. In the evenings, he would lead prayers and give speeches, speaking not in complex political terms, but in language the common person could understand. He spoke of self-reliance, of spinning their own cloth, of defying the unjust salt laws. He was not just leading a march, he was teaching a nation how to be free. The British authorities were in a bind. Arresting Gandhi would make him a martyr and likely spark violent riots, defeating the purpose of his non-violent protest. But letting him continue was a public admission of their powerlessness. They chose to wait, hoping the whole affair would fizzle out. It didn't. On the morning of April 6th, after 24 days of walking, Gandhi reached the shores of Dandi. As the sun rose over the Arabian Sea, he waded into the water, prayed, and then bent down to pick up a small lump of natural, untaxed salt. It was a simple, quiet act, yet it echoed like a thunderclap across the subcontinent. With that one gesture, he had broken the law and defied an empire. The effect was electric. All across India, people began to make their own salt. From the shores of Bombay to the coast of Bengal, millions joined in this act of mass civil disobedience. Women, who had traditionally been confined to their homes, came out in droves to picket liquor shops and stores, selling foreign cloth. The British response was swift and brutal. Over 60,000 people, including Gandhi himself, were arrested. But the prisons couldn't hold the spirit of an awakened nation. The non-violent protesters faced police batons with incredible courage, never raising a hand in retaliation. The newsreels of these beatings shocked the world, exposing the ugly reality of colonial rule. The Salt March did not immediately win India its independence. That would take another 17 years. But it was the turning point. It united the Indian people, shattered the illusion of British invincibility, and demonstrated the immense power of non-violent resistance. The frail man who walked to the sea had shown his people that their freedom was not something to be given, but something to be taken. The legacy of the Salt March extends far beyond India's borders. It became a blueprint for civil rights movements around the world. Decades later, a young leader in America, named Martin Luther King Jr., would study Gandhi's methods and apply them to the fight against racial segregation. The walk to Dandi became a symbol of hope for oppressed people everywhere, proving that true power lies not in armies and empires, but in the courage and conviction of the human spirit. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into one of history's most defining moments. Here on our channel, Historical Figures and Moments, we love exploring these complex stories. If you enjoy this kind of detailed storytelling, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing so you won't miss our next video. We're a growing community, and every single one of you makes a huge difference. If you're passionate about history and have skills in research, storytelling, or production, we're also looking for volunteers to help us create more of this content. You can find the details in the description below. Let's keep exploring the past together. Thanks for watching.